Hello everyone, good morning, good evening. Today we're going to talk about nuclear energy. And nuclear energy is energy that is formed out of the unstable atoms of radioactive elements. This happens when the unstable nucleus or nuclei of these elements splits to give more stable isotopes of other elements emitting energy through that process. This particular process is called nuclear fusion, or the splitting of the nucleus of a radioactive atom, giving you more stable isotopes or atoms of other elements emitting radiation and energy. So in nuclear power plants, such materials like uranium-235 isotope, these rods are submerged in water, and this process takes place where neutrons bombard the unstable nuclei of uranium-235 that splits, giving out a lot of energy. This energy in turn is able to convert the water into steam, and the steam is channeled to turn turbines that are able to create electricity on the process. So other application will be in military to manufacture bombs and other explosives, and also these particular materials can be used in medicine, in radiology, for imaging purposes. So we have quite a number of elements that are radioactive. There are about 37 of them. Most of them sit at the bottom of the deep local elements, and a lot of them are actinides. We have lanthanides and actinides, and uranium, polonium, radium will be examples of such elements. So these elements do occur naturally as mineral deposits on Earth, and we have quite a number of countries that do have such mineral deposits. My focus here is going to be those countries that do have these mineral deposits in Africa, and we have quite a number of them. To mention a few, the largest mineral reserve, nuclear reserve, will be in Namibia. South Africa will come second. Nigeria will be third. Botswana, Tanzania, Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. And having listed quite a number of African countries that have got these particular reserves, minerals that are nuclear reserves, we have only one country in Africa that has a nuclear power plant. And that country is going to be South Africa. We have other countries that are on the plans to put up nuclear power plants, but this is just talks for now. We don't have any practical occurrence of such yet. So such countries will be like Egypt, for example, Nigeria, Nigeria, we have Morocco, among many other countries that are going in that direction. Why is this important? So from the list I gave, Nigeria is the third largest country with uranium deposits, and like I said, it doesn't have any power plant for quite a number of reasons. One of them being the country being unstable as far as the West is concerned to be able to handle a nuclear power plant. The fear here is that if there's war and such a facility is attacked, you're going to have a Chernobyl kind of situation whereby you have leakage of radioactive materials that take years throughout their half-life for these particular radioactive materials to decay and become stable and safe. So that said, most of these minerals from Africa are extracted and exported to other countries. Now, which countries are benefiting? So few of the countries I mentioned happen to be former French colonies, Francophone Africa, and Nigeria is one of those. And there were concessions that were signed back in the day, especially pre-independence and post-Second World War, to, pay some concessions for minerals to be taken by the former colonizers per se. And Nigeria was receiving about 80 cents in terms of euros per kilo for this uranium deposits that were being extracted from their country. In turn, it is said that France goes ahead and sells the same uranium for about 200 euros per kilo. So look at the disparity from 80 cents per kilo paid to Niger to 200 euro that they receive per kilo for the same mineral. Part of why you see the revolt that happened in the Sahel region, allowing these countries to take their power back and manage or nationalize their resources so that it can benefit their people. That said, we have 14 other countries that are former colonies of France, and minerals aside, these countries were also compelled to use the France CFA, the French franc, as their official currency. You need to know that France doesn't use this currency in their own country. They use the euro, but they had compelled these countries to use the French franc. And with that, they were supposed to deposit upwards of 85% of their foreign reserves in the French treasury. And there are no exact figures on what this amounts to, but it's upwards of $500 billion annually that these countries collectively were sheltering within the French treasury. So remaining with 15% of their, national revenue to run their countries with. And it's further said that these countries were supposed to apply as a loan at current market rates to access their own money back to use in their countries. So this has caused a lot of geopolitical tensions, which is why you see what's going on in Western Africa, especially within the countries who are formerly French colonies. And Burkina Faso, Niger are a good example of those countries that have decided to take their resources and power back. And this has caused a lot of turmoil. You might not see this in the mainstream media as such, but if you go to YouTube and other places and search for what is going on in France, there's a lot of turmoil, demonstrations, burning down of things, things that can be plastered out there so much if this could have been happening in Africa. They have changed about 5 prime ministers in 2 years because they are collapsing economically. And part of why that is happening is because Africa is saying enough is enough. We need to take our power back. We need to control our resources ourselves. And if you want the resources for yourself, you need to come and take it the right way at the proper market rate. This might be the direction Africa takes in general, and if this happens, the West might reckon, because for so long, the West has benefited from Africa's resources and people and giving handouts in return in form of aid. So that said, science links to politics in this sense. So when you're saying, how does science help me? It does. It applies everywhere in your day-to-day life, in politics, and everything in between. Thank you guys. Have a good day. See you in the next one.